Do Star Wars and good news go hand in hand? Not since Disney took over.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Star Wars on streaming has been hit or miss. For all the highs, there are plenty more lows. While shows like The Mandalorian and Andor have their fans, shows like Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett are the stuff of legend for how bad they are. And it looks like another show is about to join that class. It sounds so bad, fans are hoping it will never get made. But before we get to that and a whole lot more, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to World Class Bullshitters for more world-class content. You know, it's summertime, it's getting hotter, but you have to wear something out in public, so why not wear something with style and class? World class, that is. So go to shopwcbs.com and get yourself an official WCBS t-shirt. There are dozens of choices designed by me, and all of our shirts are shipped and printed through Teespring, so you get their customer service, support, as well as the high quality each of their t-shirt carries. So go to shopwcbs.com right now to grab one of those, and since it's summer and it's so damn hot out, you might want something cool to drink. So why not drink that cool beverage out of an official WCBS pint glass? When you do, you'll become the fifth bullshitter. You can crack a cold one with us and spend your summer watching all the new World Class Bullshitters content coming your way, including the return of good morning pop culture. So folks, you can click on those links below, get yourself an official WCBS piece of glassware, wear the t-shirt, and hang out with us all summer long. And now, back to the video. Modern Star Wars isn't very good. In fact, it's terrible. Outside of a few select episodes of the shows mentioned a moment ago, the Star Wars brand keeps sustaining more and more damage. The overpriced movies failed to deliver, the merchandise from 8 years ago still sits on store shelves, and the number one emotion associated with the property is apathy. However, fans are excited about The Acolyte because word on the street is, it's cancelled. This comes from Giant Freakin' Robot. Rumors are flying that Star Wars The Acolyte has been cancelled at Disney Plus following the firing of showrunner Leslie Headland. Cosmic Book News made the initial report based on claims that noted leaker Doomcock with producer Cameron Pasha cited as a source. The YouTuber explained that Pasha found from a source at Lucasfilm, only referred to as Sparrow, that made a claim about Headland's firing, and as a result, the upcoming series was given a soft cancellation. The most ambitious and mysterious Disney Plus series set in the world of Star Wars. Not much has been known about The Acolyte since it was first announced, though the cast did include the likes of Carrie-Anne Moss, Manny Jacinto, Lee Jung-jae, and Amandla Stenberg. Other than the cast list and general setting of the era of the High Republic, a century before The Phantom Menace, the studio shared no details on the production, and with a potential cancellation, it's now clear why. Doomcock's revelations about the firing and soft cancellation matches how Disney and Lucasfilm have handled the rumors swirling around Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. With no official news of cancellation, which would be admitting fault on some level, the company is instead just letting it remain in a state of limbo, though effectively cancelled as long as there's no official acknowledgement. Lucasfilm can continually hint at the shows in production and being worked on for as long as they need before the general public forgets about it. Star Wars The Acolyte is likely to suffer the same fate, as it seems the leakers can't even agree on the basic premise of the plot, which isn't a reflection of the quality of the information and instead points to turmoil behind the scenes. The earliest information pointed towards the series being darker than what fans are used to, with the Jedi being painted as bad guys. Whether that's because the story is from a Sith point of view or playing around with shades of gray is unknown, and we may never get a satisfying answer. At one point, the Acolyte was rumored to follow Jedi Master, likely Carrie-Anne Moss, with her Jedi Padawan as they solved heinous crimes. In another leak months later, it was brought up that Stenberg's character would be portrayed by both the Jedi and the Sith, causing her to try to destroy the Force. Either way, it sounds like a fascinating premise for a Star Wars series, especially one not afraid to point out the hypocrisy of the Jedi witnessed during the prequel trilogy. Today's rumor appears valid based on the lack of information about The Acolyte, especially compared to how other in-development movies and shows have been slowly leaking information to the fans. The world of Star Wars is vast and perfect for series to take place in the distant past, but fans will have to get their fix from Logan's James Mangold helming a movie set even further back at the dawn of the Jedi Order. Regardless of what happened behind the scenes of another doomed Star Wars series, don't be surprised if no information about The Acolyte ever comes out and Disney stops mentioning it during press conferences. While a cancellation is almost never good news, given how badly bruised the franchise is after the rise of Skywalker, failing to put out a substandard show beats the alternative of making fans suffer. This rumor comes from the fact that no information about the show is known. That is true, or was, up until today. At the second Blue Dragon Series Awards event in Incheon, Korea, talented actor Lee Jung-jae gave us some eagerly awaited confirmation that the Star Wars Acolyte wrapped in May is planned, and he spoke about his challenges filming the series in English. Jung-jae having a hard time speaking English was something that we suspected after seeing him attend Star Wars Celebration with a translator by his side. As reported by K. Bizum, the actor confirmed that filming the show in a different language than Korean brought its own set of challenges, but he made a point of saying that it was a fun experience overall. It was a meaningful experience for me personally. I had a hard time because there were so many English lines, but it was fun. The actor and staff who worked with me helped me out a lot, so I finished filming happily. I filmed The Acolyte until May this year. It was all on location filming in London. I filmed in Europe and elsewhere. It was a meaningful experience for me personally. While the main base of operations for The Acolyte was set up in Sheffield Studios, 40 miles west of London, we knew that because the crew visited the Madeira Islands in Portugal for a few days in March. The Acolyte is set to release in sometime in 2024. The show will focus on female villains as it depicts how it was possible for the Sith to rise to such power in the prequel trilogy. A teaser trailer was shown at Star Wars Celebration attendees back in April, though no word yet of when or if that footage will be released to the public. The show is expected to last for multiple seasons. So the rumor falls apart since there is news about the show's production timeline. It's obvious fans are tired of bad Star Wars content from Disney, but as we know, Lucasfilm doesn't care about the fans. The internal workings of Lucasfilm aren't fully known, but what we do know is that it's run very poorly. 2 weeks ago, we discussed a newly published book, Burn It Down by Maureen Ryan. In it, a source discussed how Lucasfilm was very lax with the budgets and how nepotism runs the company. Lucasfilm hasn't produced consistently successful Star Wars content since being purchased by Disney in 2012. We did an entire video about that book and the internal failures of Lucasfilm, so check that out in the title card up above. Rumors of this sort of thing are nothing new, but very little comes to fruition. Bits and pieces may be accurate over time, but like the old adage says, a broken clock is right twice a day. The real story here isn't the rumor, it's the why fans are fed up with Lucasfilm. For over a decade, the company that George Lucas built has produced subpar Star Wars content. The films have been disappointing, the EU was eliminated, fan-favorite characters were brushed aside for newer, lesser characters that failed to make an impact, and a whole lot more. Add into the fact that Lucasfilm keeps doubling down on bad decisions, and you start to get a clearer picture of why Star Wars fans aren't Star Wars fans anymore. This goes beyond Star Wars. The same tactic that ruined Star Wars is ruining the new Indiana Jones film. The Dial of Destiny is set to disappoint when it drops in just a few days. Some argue it's premature to say this, but every Lucasfilm project suffers the same problem. Every Lucasfilm project suffers the same fate, and every Lucasfilm project causes fans to suffer, and the fans are tired of suffering. Some are hoping for a Batgirl scenario. The Batgirl scenario is the studio canceling this show after it's already been produced. Batgirl was shot, but Warner Brothers decided to use the film as a tax write-off instead of releasing it. The history of Star Wars cancellations is much different than that of DC cancellations. The Star Wars projects were never far along into production, and according to the lead actor, they wrapped filming the entire series last month. No matter what, The Acolyte is gearing up to be another disappointing chapter in the Star Wars saga. Even the once great Mandalorian has angered audiences. Bad stories, pointless cameos, and bad world building that ultimately led nowhere. Star Wars can't win, and it's not the fans who are the problem. So folks, what do you think about this? What do you think of the news? What do you think of the rumor? I want to know what you think down below. Here are your 3 questions. 1. Do you believe the rumor that The Acolyte will not get released? 2. Based on that rumor, what do you think about Lee Jung-jae's words, the lead actor who said the show's been filmed already? And 3. Are you interested in The Acolyte? Me personally, no. Everything they say about it sounds less and less appealing. It won't be the first Star Wars show that I've skipped outright, but it'll just be another one that I skip, because I don't have enough time to watch crap Star Wars. And if that's the case, I just don't have any time to watch Star Wars in general because it hasn't been good in a long time. A long time. But all these rumors stem from the fact that Star Wars has been mismanaged so poorly over the last few years, people are desperate for some good news to come out of that, and it's usually in the form of bad news. Because Lucasfilm has taken all this time to produce bad Star Wars content, disrespect the fans, disrespect the characters and the legacy of these properties that people love. Fans are so dedicated to Star Wars, they put their religion down as Jedi on some forms. People are married in Star Wars themed weddings, people have Star Wars themed houses, but people don't have any of that based on the new Disney Star Wars. Disney tried to have a Star Wars themed hotel that cost $5,000 for 2 nights, and you know what? It didn't work. It's already going out of business in record time. New Disney Star Wars is not good. There's no doubt about that. The numbers don't lie, they don't spell anything but disaster for the brand, and there's really no way to sugarcoat it. You can't blame the fans, you can't call them bigots, you can't call them sexist, you can't call them racist. You can't blame the fans because the fans don't make these projects. Leslie Headland was quoted as saying one of the showrunners had never seen Star Wars, and they took that as a term of endearment. If I were in charge, I would make sure the people writing my shows knew what Star Wars was. Lucasfilm used to have continuity editors. Lucasfilm used to have these people that were responsible for making sure that everything worked in the Star Wars universe. And was it perfect? No, nothing is. But it was damn close to it, and Star Wars used to be a lot better many years ago. It's not a bunch of delusional people living in the past, it's fans whose voices are valid, whose opinions are valid, unlike the shows that we're forced to watch. So folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time with more. Make sure you watch us on Tuesday nights for the High Council at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week's podcast on Thursday night will be a special review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We watch it so you don't have to. So folks, check that out at 9 o'clock, send in your messages, have your voices heard on the channel, and if you really want to know all about the movie and you don't want to spend a dime to watch it, check out our video on the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny plot leaks. They turned out to be true, all of it. So thank you for watching, I'll be back next time with more, but in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.